Good afternoon. This is Annika Derisova for Skedline News. Here is what is making the news today. Polls are open for HSF presidential elections. Ronan O'Doherty spoke with some students about whether they are planning to vote.
Elections for Humber Student Federation president are underway. Students are flocking to ballot boxes here at the Lakeshore campus. Some students have specific ideas in mind as what they're looking for in an ideal candidate.
Someone who's responsible and seeks for the better interest of the majority of the students, since that would make more people happy, obviously.
Other students are voting just for the sake of voting.
I think we're all post-grad, so I think we feel pretty far removed from the actual issues. I used to be in student government, so I voted simply because I wanted to exercise my democratic right to do so, but not really issues-based for me.
As is the case in many elections, not everyone is enthusiastic about exercising their right to the franchise.
I just didn't really see a lot of promotion, and I don't really know if it makes a difference. It's my first year here.
For those who are interested, voting is very easy. It's as simple as entering your student number and password, and then picking a candidate. In addition to the opportunity to choose a representative, voters are enticed with free silly putty.
Ballot boxes are open until Tuesday. I'm Ronan O'Doherty, reporting for Skedline at Humber's Lakeshore campus.
Thanks, Ronan. Election results will be made available tomorrow afternoon. Naren Yamnu discusses different alternatives for students purchasing textbooks at Humber Lakeshore campus.
The high price of textbooks continues to raise the debt of students at Humber College. Every semester, students spend hundreds on books that they lug to school every day and only use once. Many students look for a cheaper way to get their textbooks, such as finding them online, renting them at the Humber College bookstore, or purchasing a used copy. The Humber College bookstore is very useful for students to get their textbooks. They can even get it at a cheaper price by renting their textbook or simply purchasing a used copy. Most of the time, this method is cheaper. However, not every book has the option to rent.
I have rented a couple times, but sometimes the rent options is not even available for the books, so you have to just flat out buy them.
I found myself renting textbooks, but some of them are limited to what you can rent, and so typically I think of it as, am I really going to need this textbook, and is it worth using for the next couple of years of my life? So I find renting is a better option, but there is also eBay and Amazon, which ships fairly quick and is significantly cheaper.
It's really hard for us as a student, to buy these books. We can't rent it, we can't do anything, just buy it. Let's say you just get used book and then new book. You can never find the used book.
Whether students are looking for a used textbook at a cheaper price or trying to sell a book that they no longer need, the college bookstore, by Humber College, allows them to do so. This store is limited to only certain books that they're currently selling, but is always an option for students.
With textbook prices on the rise, students are looking for cheaper alternatives to buying their books. I'm Naren Yamnu, Skedline.
Thanks, Naren. Tim Paul soaked up some fall sun today. Here he is with the weather report.
Fall is usually a time for change, but this year so far, that's been for the better. The hot weather will continue, reaching a high of 25 today with clear skies, dropping to 14 tonight. Continuing the trend this week, Tuesday's high is 18 with a 70% chance of rain. Wednesday and Thursday are partly cloudy with highs of 21 and 23. Friday will bring an 80% chance of rain, but a high of 21. Finally cooling down on Saturday with a high of just 12. That's your weather for the week. Now back to you, Annika.
Thanks, Tim. In international news, thousands of pro-democratic protesters have filled the streets in Hong Kong. The crowd is causing the business hub of the city to shut down. Protesters are ignoring appeals to leave. Riot police have withdrawn after overnight clashes. Batons and tear gas were used to disperse the crowds. The group is protesting Beijing's plan to vet candidates for Hong Kong's 2017 leadership elections. Protesters want a free choice of candidates for the chief executive. The U.S.-led coalition in Iraq appears to have stopped the advance of ISIS members near a strategic town west of Baghdad. The coalition continued conducting airstrikes near Amaraya al-Fallujah over the weekend. U.S. President Barack Obama said the U.S. had underestimated ISIS in a television interview on Sunday. Afghanistan has sworn in the country's first new president in a decade. Ashraf Ghani is replacing Hamid Karzai in the country's first democratic transfer of power. Ghani shares power with runner-up Abdullah Abdullah, who now becomes chief executive under a U.S. brokered deal. 2 Taliban bomb attacks killed about 15 people at the same time as the inauguration took place. The Taliban killed a deal as an orchestrated sham. Here in Canada, Luca Magnotta's trial began today in Montreal. Magnotta is accused of gruesome murder of a Concordia student, Julien, more than 2 years ago. He is charged with 5 offenses, including first-degree murder in connection with Lynn's death. The trial is expected to attract worldwide attention. On Sunday, I spoke with a Gazan journalist, Laila El-Haddad, who co-wrote a cookbook at a film festival discussion panel in Toronto. And here he is.
I'm a programmer and organizer of the Toronto Palestine Film Festival. We are here today at Beit Zaytoun to do a panel with Laila El-Haddad, who is a Gaza blogger and author of the Gaza Kitchen Cookbook. So she's going to be here today to talk about food and identity, as well as doing a cooking demo of one of her recipes in the cookbook. So we've spent a lot of time putting this panel together, and we're really happy to have her here with us in the city of Toronto, and to hear her views about how food is connected to identity.
My name is Laila El-Haddad. I co-wrote the Gaza Kitchen with Maggie Schmidt, and it's really a documentary cookbook that tries to issue a corrective to the Palestinian narrative, that tries to codify the very unique culinary heritage of the Gaza district, the area now known as the Gaza Strip, but it was a much wider area, to try to tell the stories of the land and the people. Much of these towns and villages that we write about no longer exist on a map. They were either destroyed or depopulated by Zionist militias in 1948, but the people still exist. They became refugees and currently live in Gaza, and in their collective consciousness, those lands still exist and continue to thrive through the recipes. So we thought food would be an interesting way to tell that story, to tell their stories, and to tell the collective story of the Palestinian struggle.
That is all for today. Until next time, this is Annika Durisova for Skedline News.